you sleep for a reason. You sleep partially because you need to clean up your networks and undergo processes like synaptic pruning. You also sleep because you need to clear out metabolic waste products through the lymphatic system. Those processes are occurring during a time during which you're not taking exogenous ketones, and therefore if you're in a ketogenic state nutritionally, the benefits of ketosis will be working throughout sleep.
Beta-hydroxybutyrate can help manage our nervous system. So we have a sympathetic nervous system and we have parasympathetic. And in the sympathetic nervous system, that's our fight and flight mode. And our body, that's what we need to pull an all-nighter, to write an exam the next day, or meet a deadline, something like that. And in that fight and flight state, our body is producing cortisol, which is our stress hormone. And the stress hormone, kind of like insulin, will also cause fat storage around the middle. So that's another thing that we see that we have to address. So when we're in that fight and flight mode, we're producing a lot of that cortisol. And so this is also where we see things like insomnia. So we need to transition from sympathetic to parasympathetic, which is that calm nervous system. And what we have found is that beta-hydroxybutyrate can actually help maintain the balance between sympathetic and parasympathetic, and actually encourages that parasympathetic or the calm state. And in that calm state, we're not pushing cortisol, our stress hormone, and we're not in that sort of fight or flight state. It calms the nervous system down, will calm the cortisol levels as well. So the role of ketones with mood and sleep, it kind of taps in a little bit to what we were talking about with our nervous system. So one of the things with mood and with sleep is when we're in that constant sympathetic stress state where that fight or flight nervous system is activated, that's where we see a lot of anxiety. That's where we see a lot of cortisol, sort of an overstimulated nervous system, and that's where people get a lot of anxiety and insomnia because their brain is sort of racing at night. So the ability to tap into that parasympathetic nervous system and calm the nervous system down is essential for those individuals. We also have seen, though, that beta-hydroxybutyrate encourages the production of something called GABA, which is a neurotransmitter. It's a chemical messenger in the brain. And GABA is a very calming neurotransmitter. So often we'll give people GABA to try and manage some of those conditions they might be suffering from. So there could be benefit from beta-hydroxybutyrate given that it encourages the production of GABA, which is that calming neurotransmitter.
With the brain, we're not seeing any difference between endogenous ketones and exogenous ketones. They seem to be accessing the same brain regions. They seem to be having very similar effects in terms of how they affect the blood glucose levels and, how the ketones actually wind up in the brain. The advantage of endogenous ketones, if you're not insulin resistant, is that during sleep, if you're in a ketogenic state, nutritionally, the benefits of ketosis will be working throughout sleep.